cannot raise a generation of kids that are this tuned out, that are this rude, that are this violent.
I teach 7th grade. They are still performing on the 4th grade level.
People have been sharing videos of their children literally having meltdowns after taking the iPad away from them.
What's wrong?
I want an iPad. I really want an iPad.
As a 12-year-old, the internet taught me too many things I shouldn't know. It has completely ruined me, and I have serious mental health issues. This is just one of the many horror stories about brain rot destroying Generation Alpha. It's gotten so bad that the Oxford Dictionary made brain rot the 2024 word of the year. But although everyone is complaining about brain rot, most people still don't understand what it is exactly or how much damage it's causing. Today, we'll break it down like never before and show with proof how brain rot is destroying an entire generation. So my goal this year is to give you guys double the amount of videos without sacrificing quality. And to do that, we got to keep growing. So 75% of you guys aren't subscribed, and it would mean the world to me if you did. And I promise to give you more fire content. The disturbing rise of brain rot. Brain rot is the idea that exposure to certain content can turn you into an idiot. It's based on the belief that the internet is rotting the brains of kids who spend too much time watching videos online.
Gen Alpha content is some of the most incoherent brain dead I've ever seen in my life, okay? Like I can physically feel my brain cells frying every second I spend watching them.
But this isn't just some theory. A mom saw it happen to her own sons. When the boys were toddlers, she would play videos on her iPad to keep them calm and entertained. It worked so well that she started calling the iPad peace in a pocket.
Sometimes you have an important phone call or you've got a parent-teacher interview or whatever that you just can't be interrupted in, and it's so easy. It's peace in a pocket.
But that peace didn't last. By the time her sons were 9 and 7, they were exhibiting disturbing behavior. The boys didn't want to do anything except watch videos online and play games. They didn't even want to go to school or do homework. And when she tried to take the screens away, this happened.
And they would become sort of aggressive and throw tantrums and that sort of thing if they'd played for ages and ages.
She ended her story with a warning for other parents.
There is something about it that changes their brain.
And she was absolutely right. Researchers found that too much screen time physically changes kids' brains.
One result that keeps showing up: parts of the brain related to reading, language, and decision-making are often weaker in kids who have more screen time.
This shrinking of the brain is what we call brain rot, and by the time parents notice, it's already too late.
What's wrong?
I want an iPad. I really want an iPad.
One mom shared a story about her 7-year-old daughter who got an iPad for Christmas. No one realized how addicted this girl was until her birthday party. The house was full of guests, presents, and cake, but none of it mattered. The girl did not talk to any children invited and spent the entire party playing Roblox on her iPad. Generation Alpha is defined as those born from 2010 to 2024. From the moment they could hold one, these kids had iPads in their hands. That's why they've been hit the hardest by brain rot.
She knew exactly how to start it up. She knew from the get-go.
From the moment she wakes up, Violet Bolton can't wait to get on her iPad.
There are about 2 billion Gen Alphas living in the world. What happens when these brain rot kids step into the real world? iPad kids. Studies show that kids who spend too much time online are more defiant and rude to their parents. A perfect example of this happened on a flight from Germany in August 2017. A mother and her child boarded the plane, and right away, you could tell this was an iPad kid. The moment they sat down, the mother asked the flight attendant to turn on the Wi-Fi so her child could use their iPad. We don't know if the Wi-Fi was turned on or not, but as soon as the plane took off, all hell broke loose.
The passengers describe an 8-hour flight from hell with non-stop and nerve-jangling screaming and fussing. They even covered their ears to drown out the 3-year-old.
No matter what anyone did, the child wouldn't calm down.
But he was climbing all over the chairs. He was just screaming, would not let up. He was running up and down the aisles.
Some people say the solution is simple. Punish the kid. Spank them. Take away their devices. But what happens when the kid isn't small anymore? Like this 15-year-old Gen Alpha boy who is 6 feet tall and 270 pounds. In September 2022, his mom allegedly took away his phone as punishment. In retaliation, he destroyed the entire house.
I don't care.
Desperate for help, his mother started a GoFundMe to raise money for repairs. But when people started criticizing her son for being spoiled, she tried to change the story. She posted another video saying her son was mentally ill and that his meltdown wasn't over a phone, but the internet wasn't buying it. They thought she was only saying that so more people could feel sorry for her and donate. But this kind of aggression from kids is everywhere now, even in schools.
I've had a student throw chairs at me and shoes because I asked them to get their math book out, but they didn't want to.
And nothing triggers aggression faster than a parent taking away the iPad.
What? What's gonna happen? What's gonna happen?
People have been sharing videos of their children literally having meltdowns after taking the iPad away from them. I mean, this one is literally picking up a chair to throw it.
But Gen Alpha kids who aren't lashing out are facing a different emotional problem: depression. In 2021, researchers found that high school kids who spend too much time on TikTok experience memory loss, depression, stress, and anxiety. Sometimes even healthy teens start believing they have a mental disorder just because they saw it on TikTok.
Important story for parents to hear: rise in teens on TikTok self-diagnosing themselves with rare mental health disorders, in most cases that they don't have, after watching videos on the social platform.
But it doesn't stop at wrong diagnoses. In one bizarre case, teens actually developed physical symptoms.
Teenage girls showing up at their doctor's office with these strange tics, these strange movements, jerking movements. Nobody could figure out why.
Doctors were baffled. It took a team of investigative reporters to solve the mystery.
According to a recent Wall Street Journal article, doctors say all the girls have one thing in common. They're watching TikTok videos of people with Tourette's syndrome, which is a neurological disorder that can cause physical tics.
No wonder TikTok is called the worst social media platform of all. It's pure brain rot. This next brain rot problem destroys the innocence of kids. Inappropriate content for kids. Kids who spend all their time online don't have to go looking for adult content. It finds them. First, they stumble upon viral memes that might be funny for an adult, but can be extremely harmful for a child. For example, there are plenty of instances of children quoting the Hak Tua meme without understanding what it means. There's even a children's song about Hak Tua that stayed up on YouTube Kids for 3 days. We've also seen kids making jokes about P. Diddy and baby oil. That's not something a child should know about, but inappropriate jokes are just the beginning. Once a kid falls into toxic content, it only gets worse. Some as young as 9 are addicted to mature videos. Others watch real-life gore and fetish content, and this exposure changes them. They start talking and acting differently. Some get so edgy they want to get physical with the cops.
And then he has to provide his ID.
Yeah, you know what? Y'all know what? The police, the Freemasons suck my.
Although TikTok, YouTube, and Twitter try to filter the worst content, kids still find it because they're always online. Before we explain the next way brain rot is destroying Generation Alpha, there's one question we need to answer. If brain rot content is so bad, why do creators keep making it? Getting rich from brain rot. Brain rot isn't just about too much screen time. It's also about the fast, flashy content kids watch online that messes with their brains.
You can use it in 2 ways. You could say, that's brain rot. Yes. Or you can say, that video gave me brain rot. 2 ways.
While brain rot content is destroying Gen Alpha, it's making those creating it filthy rich. Let's look at the numbers, starting with one of the worst offenders, CoComelon. Right now, CoComelon's YouTube channel has 189 million subscribers and 1,400 videos. And those videos have been watched 196 billion times. And every single one of those views puts money in their pockets. However, their biggest payday came in 2021 when the studio behind CoComelon was sold for $3 billion. But CoComelon isn't the only show cashing in on brain rot. According to Forbes, the Baby Shark dance video earns around $283,000 each month. That's about $9,400 a day. We can't talk about brain rot shows without Skibbity Toilet. It's a nonsensical YouTube series about toilets with human heads in the bowls, but it gets over 30 million views per video and could earn up to $23 million per year from YouTube alone. But it's not just videos. Even social media platforms are worsening brain rot by making their apps more addictive. Scrolling on TikTok has been compared to playing a slot machine in a casino. Every short video gives a tiny hint of dopamine, making users more addicted. Now, YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram are copying TikTok, pushing short videos to keep people hooked. world. And it's paying off. Here's a table showing how much social media platforms earn in 2024. It ranges from $800 million to $80 billion. Despite the warnings, nobody is stopping. If anything, they're doubling down because brain rot is a gold mine. This next problem is serious because it affects Gen Alpha's daily life. A generation that can't communicate. Watch this video and see if you understand what this kid is saying.
Biddies and diddy men, keep your phantom high, but Sigma's higher. And remember, it's just alcohol!
Sounds like complete nonsense, right? But believe it or not, this is how many Gen Alpha kids talk now. It's called brain rot slang.
I do a GRWM for my OOTD, but I don't have the proper ring like they tell me I need.
This slang only makes sense if you're deep into online culture. Otherwise, it's gibberish. It's so frustrating that a TV show host brought her own Gen Alpha son on live television just to explain this bizarre way of speaking.
When you say skibbity toilet, what are you talking about? Are you just talking about that? Or is it just a funny thing to say?
But every brain rot word has a meaning. Riz is short for charisma, only in Ohio refers to anything that's strange or random. And skibbity can mean good, cool, bad, evil, or dumb, depending on the context. There are so many of these terms that someone started a brain rot dictionary to keep track. But brain rot slang is not a laughing matter. Many teachers have noticed that kids who speak brain rot struggle to switch back to normal English. It's like they're forgetting how to talk properly, but at least teenagers can still talk. Toddlers, on the other hand, are losing their ability to speak at all. A mother shared her experience with CoComelon, one of the worst brain rot shows. My youngest was watching CoComelon almost every day, and I just thought he was taking a bit longer with his speech. But after I cut it out, his speech picked up almost instantly. He started saying simple words like mama and dada that he hadn't said before. There's a reason for this. For starters, the scenes in CoComelon change every 1 to 3 seconds.
1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1.
It's so fast that kids barely have time to process what's happening on screen. Secondly, the colors in CoComelon are at maximum saturation, which can overwhelm a child's developing brain. Last but not least, CoComelon has repetitive songs and high-pitched sounds, all designed to grab and hold a child's focus.
And all of that is happening simultaneously. The child is being overstimulated.
And that overstimulation comes with consequences.
Instead of the child singing along or, rehearsing the lessons in the show, they are just mesmerized by what is happening. All of the different senses that are being stimulated in the moment of watching, and it actually causes them to become nonverbal.
It's a national crisis. A 2023 survey found that 1 in 5 children were behind with their talking and understanding of words. That's the highest number ever recorded. Talking is how people express themselves. So what happens when an entire generation grows up only knowing how to speak in brain rot? Or worse, what happens when they can't speak at all? Following the cool kids. Brain rot has trained Gen Alpha not to think. So when a new TikTok trend goes viral, they don't stop to ask, is this a bad idea? They just jump in, and sometimes it ends in disaster. Take the outlet challenge. Kids were shoving coins into electric sockets just to make sparks fly. Or the devious licks challenge, where kids filmed themselves stealing from their own schools, and those who got caught got in trouble.
Friend's been expelled from school for riding his scooter after hours and stealing a handicap parking sign from the school.
And worst of them all, the blackout challenge. That one was fatal. This isn't just about dumb TikTok trends, it's about an entire generation of kids losing their ability to learn. The dumb generation. Brain rot has messed with Gen Alpha's brains so badly, they can't even study.
We are in a crisis mode in American schools.
On TikTok, videos about Gen Alpha struggling to read have almost 417 million views.
I teach 7th grade, they are still performing on the 4th grade level.
Even the kids who can read can only handle simple sentences or scan headlines, but ask them to read something longer or more complex, they shut down. And then there's the problem of low attention spans.
They can't even attend to a video. They can't even attend to a 3-minute video clip. I can play it, I can tell them what it's going to be about. I can summarize what the video did, and not a single one can tell me what the video was about.
As if being distracted and unable to read wasn't bad enough, Gen Alpha is also making their teachers' lives miserable.
Having to teach and work with you guys as children has been the most traumatic experience of my life. They don't respect any authority. You ask them, can you stand in your designated spot? They're telling you no and shut up.
In 2023, reading and math scores among 13-year-olds in the US fell to their lowest levels in decades. That's solid proof brain rot is destroying the education of an entire generation.
And we are expecting them to go to college and obtain jobs when they cannot even comprehend basic skills.
Brain rot content won't disappear because it's too profitable. But parents can control what their kids watch, and that choice changes everything. More importantly, kids need time away from their screens. And if you're Gen Alpha and you're watching this, here's my advice. Don't let brain rot ruin your future. Visual venture. If you guys like this video, you guys would probably like my video on the worst TikTok trends. Thank you guys a ton for being here. Peace.